You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome on to episode 110. I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett, and we are Flipping the Bird, brought to you by TickPick. In the link below, you can actually order your Eagles tickets, better seats, better prices, without the fees and the hassle that you have to deal with the other guys. So make sure you guys are clicking on the link below. And yeah, how you feeling, brother?
Not too bad. Early starts of the week this week, but we're getting our feet underneath us. How are you doing? I know you've been busy.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
I think I need a moment where it's just like nothing's going on. It's been a very busy weekend, very busy week so far. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster. Eagles coming off and I mentioned it too. I mentioned it last week. I'm saying, look, listen, it's gonna be a very, very dangerous game. I don't trust the Giants losing Jason Garrett. Shout out to Doug who just joining us down the chat. How you feeling, man? We're feeling good. But let's start with you. I have a statement to make, but I think I'm going to hold off on the statement just a little bit, because I want to gauge you really quick. So we saw a terrible offense after seeing weeks of great, offensive game planning. And I mentioned this as well. I feel like, the Eagles are going to do something stupid where they're going to get cute and they're going to go backwards. They're going to try to get pass happy because they think they can beat the Giants by the air because it's the Giants. Mm-hmm. And that was the unfortunate truth come Sunday. So right now, as Ben has already mentioned, the pain that he's feeling right now, and you've been Mr. Well balanced when it comes to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. All right, I feel like a fool because I let out my emotions. I let my emotions get the best of me last week. Okay, I declared my love for Jalen Hurts and how he should be great. Yeah. I messed it up. I screwed it all up. I admit that. Right now, as everything stands, where do you stand with Jalen Hurts? Let's just start the podcast with what's throwing a haymaker right now. Where do you stand with Jalen Hurts right out at this moment, knowing everything that's going on is going on?
See, I think for the last couple of weeks, I've been kind of saying that no really positive games, unless they were otherworldly, were really going to sway me on the way I felt about Jalen Hurts. Like, I think we're starting to see what he is. Floor wise. And then, he has a game like this. I think I owe him the benefit of the doubt to kind of say the same. It's like, I don't know that game changed my entire opinion on him. I think that in general, I maybe should have been more worried like you were about how this team was going to come into the game. I don't think that they seem prepared at all. And it's interesting because before he threw that first pick, I remember like I had the tweet like half done, and I was like, "Oh, Jalen's looking really confident in the pocket, looking poised." And then that first pick, and then a collapse. Man, again, still ran the ball pretty well, but just didn't know what he was looking at. And so I think that again, similar to Sirianni, similar again, and what I've said is like this team just doesn't adjust well, and I think that's what we saw. Is Jalen Hurts came out, threw the pick, and then just didn't adjust, didn't bounce back. Again, ran the ball well, but throwing the ball just kind of started seeing ghosts, started seeing some weird stuff, and just didn't respond to adversity. So I think that, you learn from that as a coaching staff. If you are building around him, which I do think they should still do. Again, I don't think a game like this changes that. But, you don't put the ball in his hands to make those kind of plays that early on. You stick with the run, and then if you need it, you go to the air. But I'm excited for your statement.
I took a lot of time to think about this statement over the weekend. I was a bit distracted over the weekend because MLB, they had their free agency and they had a deadline that they had to meet by the end of tonight. So me being a Mets fan, I'm very happy that we have Max Scherzer. So shout out to that. But I was more obsessed with that. But it got me to look at the game differently. I need to look at something really quick. and this is more so towards everybody as well in the chat, and I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with this. If this was Donovan McNabb, the whole city would have been going at Donovan's throat. If this was Carson Wentz, the whole city would have been going to Carson Wentz's throat. Just a fact. It's happened in the past.
Right.
My issue is we all knew going into this season that Jalen Hurts wasn't a first-round pick for a reason. He wasn't on that top tier of QBs. He wasn't that Lamar Jackson at the end of the first round that the Ravens traded the Eagles for. He wasn't that guy. Jalen Reagor wasn't that guy either. Everybody, a lot of people had him in late first round, early second. The Eagles took him at 21 before Justin Jefferson. Here's my issue, and it's going to be something that reflects with the fan base and organization is, why is it that we make such a big deal of these regular players? Like, what is it? Like, why do we crave the need to have a special player that we make Mr. Ordinary think that he could be Mr. Extraordinary? You're trying to get Jalen Hurts to fit a void right now, fill a void. You're trying to get him to fill a void that Carson Wentz left. You're trying to get Carson Wentz to fill a void that Donovan McNabb left. Now, these are, you're talking about a size 12 foot going to a size 9, going to a size 4. Like, the feet, the footprints are too big for the kid to fit in opinion. Now, I understand now, and it's weird I'm going to say this. I understand Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie now. I get why they're quarterback hunting. I completely understand it. I completely understand the Deshaun Watson stuff. I completely understand the Russell Wilson stuff. They see what we don't see. They see the actual player not being the fit that they want. We see the kid that could be a superstar that we want, that we, the city, need him to be. And that's the biggest issue right now with Philadelphia. We did it with Ben Simmons. Majority of Sixers fans do it with Shake Milton. People do it with Greg Ward, Travis Fulgham. Like, these guys, we all them, and they live up to the expectation we've set. Now, can Jalen Hurts still have a stellar career? Absolutely. Jalen Hurts can end up being a phenomenal quarterback. But right now, at this very moment, that's not what the Eagles want him to be. They don't want him for what he can be. They want results right now. Right. And the fact of the matter is, Nick Sirianni wasn't brought in for Jalen Hurts. This coaching staff wasn't brought in for Jalen Hurts. They were brought in for Carson Wentz. So my question is, why do we over-glorify these guys? And I was a victim of it last week.
See, I think I'd pose the question to you in the opposite way. Is I think that there's a lot of things that Jalen Hurts does that are extraordinary. I don't know that he does the ordinary things very well, right? Like the two passes,
extraordinary things with the runs. It's mostly with the runs, right? Because we've seen him fail in so many times in the pocket.
Hey, man, 2 drop passes at the end, like those. There's nothing wrong with either of those passes. The first one was gorgeous, 71 beautiful
passing yards heading into the second half.
Right, but that to me that's the ordinary stuff. Those 2 picks that he threw early on were just bad decisions. Like, you just didn't need to throw those balls. The one over the middle, like, again, like the thing I will say, and usually I don't say anything like this, is the rest we're letting them play. There's a couple of plays there where it's like absolutely. It was pretty obvious. Yeah, so I think the pick when he's trying to throw to Quez, like, that was a bit iffy. The throw to Jalen Reagor at the end, not the last one, but the second last one, defender clearly got there early. They were letting him play, and it went both ways. There was definitely some times the Eagles DBs, were holding on and grabbing, but that's not on Hurts, right? Like, there's definitely some things he does that you're like, wow, this is a really good quarterback. But I think the problem with him is the 5-yard ins, the drags across the middle, the checkdowns. Like, either he's hitting them every time or he's not hitting them at all, right? Like, we saw him in the first drive hit check down and make good reads and then threw the pick, right? And then again, it went to shit. But I think that's what he has to work on, is he's got so many extraordinary things. And this is a problem with Carson too. He's just like, it seems like the world's on his back and he's got to make a play when really he doesn't have to do that. Like, this is when you start missing throws that are easy and they're low because he's got happy feet. Or like on the last play of the drive, I know there's kind of 2 minds about this, but Devontae Smith is wide open, and Jalen Hurts is just moving his feet too much. He stepped up in the pocket, great, and then he kept going. If he just would have taken his 2 steps, he had Devontae wide open. His
correct
head
me if I'm
wasn't
wrong,
up.
Jalen is pretty good at throwing on the run. Am I wrong or right about that?
Yeah, he's not
pretty
bad.
good
I
at when he
think.
throws on the run.
Yeah, I think with him, it's just like the decision making is like he's pretty good at throwing on the run, but it's a second too late. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to see that a bit earlier. And so again, I just think like the reason why we're what's that word? Essentially just fantasizing about what he can be, is because the extraordinary is there. We see the extraordinary. What we don't see is the ordinary. And I don't think that, like, again, we've talked about this
We
before,
do
the
see the
conversation
ordinary.
of.
That's my thing. Like, so everything you're saying right now, right?
Right.
We see great highlights of what Jalen can be. We see great highlights.
Right.
That's not what the front office wants. They don't want to wait for the great career. They want the great highlights to be followed by the great career that is at this very moment. And we're seeing exactly what Howie said. Jalen was drafted to be the backup. Now, like I said, Jalen could be a great quarterback potentially at some point, yes. But he's not doing himself a favor because he's not moving in the right direction at all. Like that's my thing. He's still going, it's one read panic. And then the focus on Jalen Reagor just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Why are we focus on wide receiver 4 at this point? Like, why?
Yeah. It was interesting to hear that the last play, the play design was for Devontae Smith. Like, it makes sense. That's what was
read was Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. So that calls into question, what he's seeing, because I think a lot of the times we've seen him make weird throws, and we've seen him make great throws, and a lot of those great throws, those really great throws, are scramble drills. Not all of them. He makes some other good throws, but these throws to usually it's Quez Watkins, because Quez Watkins has an uncanny ability to uncover when the quarterback's on the run. That's what he's good at.
Yeah,
and I think like that's specifically what he's good at. I don't know. I think we're kind of seeing his limitations as well. It's like that's kind of what he does. I don't know that off the rip he's like a fantastic route runner, but damn, when Jalen's out of the pocket, Quez is Quez, and that's he's
hell of a catch.
Yeah. And Hurts throws it well, but again, it's the normal stuff. Okay, maybe ordinary is not the right word, but the everyday, the every down stuff that we need him to do to progress as a young, like, again, even if he is going to be a backup quarterback, what do really good backup quarterbacks do well? They don't turn the ball over. They give it to their playmakers, and they don't throw it up to wide receiver 4 unless they've been throwing to them all practice. Right. And so, like, even if he is a backup quarterback, down the line, he should be able to do those things. And the fact that he has such a high ceiling, gives a hope that maybe he can.
My question: does he really have a high ceiling? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because to me, it's like it could be fool's gold, or it can actually be legit gold. Like this could be, Atlantis for all we know. But how likely is it that just a regular water park? Like that, and that's what's driving me nuts, because a player like him with extraordinary abilities, right? With Donovan McNabb-like abilities, let's compare him to Donovan, except for the arm, of course. He should be progressing every week. You should be learning from your mistakes and not repeating them. He's repeating his mistakes on and on again. He's doing it over and over again, and he wildly did like. Some of the passes, like I get it, the interception where Boston Scott got shoved to the ground, that should have been a pass interference, point blank. That interception of Quez
But even
Watkins,
still, not a great throw. Like, I don't know if I would have thrown it to Boston Scott there. Should have been a PI, but
majority of the time, like in that game, he was throwing to double coverage, and then everybody's talking about, hey, Devontae Smith was going to be double covered at the end of the game. Okay, Jalen's been throwing to double coverage all day. Why can't he take that shot? Why not take that shot to the player that can catch the ball? So my thing is, like, if we're talking about Jalen, if we're talking about this kid's gonna be a quarterback of the future, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with saying that statement?
See, my biggest problem with the game was the interception right before halftime. That's just one you cannot throw.
Which one is that one? Is that the one that the Boston Scott one, or is that the
okay. That's the one where there's you're in field goal range easily, like that's a guaranteed field goal. You have a couple seconds left. I think you had 8 seconds left. Like if it's not there in 2 seconds, you throw the ball away.
Mhm.
Even like, maybe not brand new rookies, they'll try and make a play. Maybe they're used to college where you can score a touchdown, with the flick of the wrist. But most NFL quarterbacks know it's a 3-step drop. If you don't see anything, you get rid of the ball. Right. And so it's that process. It's like you can go over it and practice 100 times. If you're doing it differently during the games, then there's an issue there. And again, like hearing that Sirianni had a play design for Smith and for Goddard, right? Like there's things there that like no matter what he does to develop, if he's going to make those on-field reads, then that's problematic. And so I don't think this is a comment on his talent, his ability. It's just decision making. And that is something that you work on in the offseason. You get more comfortable with receivers. It happens. But I don't think like, the last throw to Reagor was a good throw. It's in double coverage, decent throw. The only person that could catch that ball. Yeah, only person that could catch that ball is Reagor. He hasn't lost the ability to run. The other passes, Reagor was great. It's really just a problem in decision making. So like we're talking about
the first pass of Reagor, the first that hit Reagor in the head.
Yeah.
Great a little bit underthrown. I mean, you don't think it was a little bit underthrown? Like, if it's a great pass, you're throwing it into the breadbasket. You're leading a receiver.
But like I guarantee you, Devontae Smith catches that.
Oh yeah, because Devontae would do some wild circus.
Maybe
to turn body around.
J-Jaw would probably catch that for a touchdown.
Stop that.
Watkins would have caught that for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like that's an NFL throw. Not great, not perfect.
But you're mentioning the receivers that would catch it, right? So you're mentioning that those receivers have the ability to go for that catch. We know what Jalen Reagor is. It's no question. Like we don't know what he is. So Jalen Reagor, you throw into the breadbasket, you lead him because he can't. He's not that guy to turn around and make a wild catch.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I still think he should catch that, right? Like you're an NFL receiver, you should catch that.
Hit him on the head. So the only reason I'm in between, I'll defend him a little bit on that. But I don't know. Like
it was early in the season, but do you see that one catch that CD Lamb made where he was doing like 2 steps to the slant? I understand.
We are not doing that right now.
Guys that were picked 4 picks apart, and CD Lamb made a body. Like this is what I mean. You drafted a receiver 1, and you can't like make that adjustment. The one thing I will say is, you don't use gears; they get rusty and they don't click. And so I think that like it's similar to like Shelton Gibson while back, or like all these receivers where we have you put them in game-winning situations, they drop the ball. Like you don't put it.
That's my thing though. You're proving my point. Why are we making big deal out of these guys that the NFL scouts themselves? Let's call it what it is. NFL scouts themselves didn't see these guys for more than what they really are. But we're seeing him as these like, Jalen Reagor should be eating up coverage. He's coming out of college. This kid is fast. He's the next Deshaun Jackson. He's not. He never was going to be. He was the next Taylor Gabriel, Magic player. And that's my fear with Jalen Hurts. People are comparing him to Lamar. People are comparing him to all these great players. But yeah, we see little flashes and glimpses of those styles of players. But that doesn't mean that this kid is gonna be that player. And I think we all need
gives me Paul Turner vibes. Remember Paul Turner?
Yes. Like exactly.
Preseason king.
Exactly. Making a big deal of these guys and making them more than what they really are. And that's right now. So what I'm trying to say is that's my biggest fear with Jalen Hurts. We're making him out to be more than what he is. And I think that's something that the front office already understood going into the season. That's why the rumors are out there. We're making him to be the superstar quarterback that he's not going to be just yet. Can he get there? Possibly. Will he get there? Is the biggest question. And it doesn't seem like he's on the right track. I see in the chat, development. Great. But development is a two-way street. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to correct your mistakes, move forward, and get it done. We're seeing the same Jalen every week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good point, and like similar to what Alex is saying too, is like we've had a lot of people in the past, like Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas come to mind, even Aguilar.
I still can't believe they cut him after all that.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean it's a fair point, right? I don't think. I mean, Rasul Douglas was a bit of a case too because he didn't show any regression. He kept getting better and better, and I don't really understand. Obviously, he got burnt on a couple plays because speed. Yeah, like speed's not what you do, so you don't put him in single coverage, without safety help over top, right? And so there's a bit of both. I think with the change of coaching staff, you hope that some of these problems change, but I think it's unfair a bit to blame the new coaching staff for everything. They haven't had that long. They're going to be sticking around. I think that they're both going to be getting a second year. But you have to fix whatever issue is going on behind the scenes. Like clearly there's something. And again, we're talking about one game here, right? So I'm not jumping to conclusions or anything like that.
Question.
But yeah.
Go ahead. No, make your point, and then I'll ask you the question.
Okay. Yeah. Like all I'm saying is with one game, it's similar to the other games in the past. And I'm trying to play both sides of it here too. And I've been trying to do the same. Is he's still a young guy, right? He's still a young quarterback. A lot of numbers, like I think they put him aside. Lamar's numbers, they put him aside. Russell Wilson's numbers, or I don't know, like whoever numbers it was. I saw
that's there.
Yeah, so it's he's like still a good guy, but you're right. It's about how you frame him like, is he your number one guy and you're building around him? I still think you build around the run game. I still think you build around the offensive line. But is he a guy that can lead you to the playoffs and not make mistakes? I still think he can do that.
So we have a quick. I'm sorry, I got distracted. The question in the chat. There's a question in the chat. So shout out to UN609. And then I'll make my question to you. If those drop TD passes didn't happen, would people still doubt Hurts? And I'm gonna say yes. The reason I'm gonna say yes is because he was having a terrible game. Like even if the Eagles won the game, Hurts was having the worst game of his career against what did they 22nd ranked defense or some crap like that. They're in the high 20s. I know that. Like,
on their way up.
He was still, he was still having a very, very bad game. Very bad game. You can't. There's no way to mask it. The kid had a terrible game, and I get it. All QBs have bad games. I get it. Russell Wilson had a terrible game. I completely understand that. But he's currently in a huge evaluation period. It's not. I don't want to say he can't make a mistake because he's gonna make mistakes. Right. But you gotta show that you're walking forward. You can't show that you're still stuck at the starting line. You gotta show that you've made it down 3 or 4 blocks already. You made at least a quarter mile down. He's not showing that, in my opinion. He's still not dropping the ball where it needs to be dropped. He's still not throwing the ball accurate enough. He's still not making the right reach for me. That's what's bothering me the most, because we're making his kids believe that we're making his kids seem like he is the second coming of Michael Vick, of Lamar Jackson, or even a Donovan McNabb. But those guys, like Lamar, if you're down 2 scores, you know, hey, you're still in the game with Lamar Jackson. If you're down 2 scores with Michael Vick, you're still in the game with Michael Vick. You were down 2 scores with Jalen Hurts.
I mean, it's interesting because you're down 2 scores, but he also puts you in a position to win that game. And I get it. It is the Giants.
Comments in the chat.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Is this your script right now? Is that what you're doing?
Well, but like, that's the argument, right? Is you almost won the game because of Hurts.
But he didn't put them in position to win, though. It was the defense.
I mean, the defense, yes, absolutely. I think that
second half they showed up.
Yeah, but I think, again, you're talking about a Giants team that's going absolutely nowhere. This is not a game that, like, again, he almost put you in position to win, but this is not a game that should have ever been in that position. And I get it's a division game, and I think that that's going to be how this team is judged, on how they finish off the year with the division games, right? Because division games will make or break a coaching staff and a quarterback. So they still got a chance at this, but for a game like that to come out that flat, like if they would have come out that flat against, I don't know, like the Broncos, and they came out that flat and they lost the Broncos, I don't think that's the same conversation. I think the fact that it's the Giants is a huge part of that. But I think that, again, like I said, the biggest play for the game for me was you don't come away with points at halftime. Like that's a deflating play, man. That just sucks the air out of you. And they came out in the second half and looked flat and couldn't get it going. And if you would have come away with a field goal, went into half with just that, it's a huge difference in a division game. And so the fact that he put you in a position to win at the end is great, but he's still, shoveling dirt into the hole he created in the first half, right? So I don't know if it's redeeming. Again, like if we're not gonna, give him the starting position for the next 5 years over one good win, we can't take him out of that for one loss. And I still think, that you're in a better position if you don't go for a quarterback. But you can't do as Sirianni, you can't do that. You can't go into a division game that matters, that gives you a chance at being 1.5 games out of the playoffs, 2 games out of the playoffs, and then go, we're going to switch everything up and let's see what our quarterback can do. That's not the game plan. I get Miles Sanders got hurt. Boston Scott had a bad fumble too. But this team didn't look prepared, man. This team didn't look like they were ready to win any games. So I think that there's more going on than just Jalen Hurts having a bad game, but he definitely didn't quite redeem himself. Yeah.
So before we're gonna move on from Jalen Hurts after here. We spent about 20-something minutes of rage on Jalen Hurts. Now I'm gonna ask you a serious question, and I need a God honest answer. I don't want you playing, balancing on the beam. I need you to be honest with me, all right? Is Jalen Hurts a quarterback that you can win with, or is Jalen Hurts a quarterback that can lead you to wins?
I think that consistently you can count on him to not lose you the game, and on occasion he'll win you a game. I think if you're looking at a 17-game schedule, you could easily have 11 wins with him going forward, and 3 of those he won for you. That's what I think his ceiling is. I think that's the type of quarterback he is.
So, what's the guy's name from Washington? Taylor Heineke?
I mean, the defense wins those games. That's all that Washington needed, is the defense to start showing some teeth. And they've got such talent. They just needed something, man.
Alex is saying that's Kyle Orton. To me, that sounds like Jay Cutler a bit. That doesn't sound like a franchise guy to me. I'm just saying that. But
he's Baker, man. Right now, he's Baker. That might be who he is.
Could be. All right. So enough of the Jalen Hurts stuff. Should we spend time on Jalen Reagor? Do we got to tell you guys that Jalen Reagor should not have been targeted 7 times or 3 more times in your wide receiver 1 or your tight end 1?
Yeah.
We got to invest energy in that.
You want to talk about it? We can.
What was the game plan going in? Why was Jalen targeting? Philadelphia has a Jalen problem right now. Why was Jalen Hurts targeting Jalen Reagor majority of the game? Did I miss something? Did Jalen Reagor just break off 100 yards the game before, or did he lose the bet on Saturday night? What was the reason?
And against the Giants too, I get it if you're going against a team with 2 top corners and you want to target that slot guy who's not very good, or there's a weakness you see, so you take advantage. But it's the Giants. They got okay corners. You don't need to do that.
My statement from before. I think it's talking about Jalen Reagor, the throws.
Yeah. I mean, they're not perfect.
I'm not alone in there. I'm not alone.
They're NFL throws. NFL receivers should be catching both of those.
Morgan is standing by that. It's because Morgan is low-key related to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, of course. The only other white receiver that you could think of.
I mean, he's the great wide receiver we could think of.
Yeah.
That's a great one right now.
Him and CMC is my cousin too.
Can I mention that my dynasty league, right? Not the PSN one. I had Cooper Kupp and AJ Brown last year. I chose to stick with AJ Brown because I was thinking, Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, not gonna have that connection just yet. AJ Brown has barely played. Cooper Kupp is a freaking monster in fantasy right now, so I'm a little bittersweet right now. But Jay Fizzle, to follow up on yours, is in double coverage, which we spoke about as well.
Yeah. I mean, Devontae Smith is the right throw.
Devontae Smith is the only wide receiver on the roster that could catch in double coverage. Actually, no, Quez can do it once in a blue.
Yeah, Quez can do it if he's got to come back to the ball and make some crazy one-handed catch off the turf or something like that. But
he's been pretty damn good at that stuff. But I mean, Jalen Reagor, I don't get why they target him so much. I don't understand. But maybe Hurts trying to look out for the boy.
Apparently that wasn't the game plan. Apparently that's not the play call. And the only thing that I can say on that and like the only thing that makes sense is when you don't practice a play very often, it doesn't turn out well. And so like they haven't really had that many plays where they've needed to do that at the end of the game. In recent weeks, at least, they've been running the football. So maybe Jalen just like not as familiar with that play, doesn't know that Devontae is going to be wide open. But again, it's just happy feet. He was looking down. The throw before that, you can't really fault him for, man. Like that, like I think I heard Sirianni talking about this one as well, where he's just like, we run an offense where if you get one-on-one coverage on the outside and you got a go route, you throw it. Can't fault that. It was a good throw. Like again, not perfect, hit him in the helmet, but like a pretty damn good throw. You can catch
the first interception was to Jalen Reagor, right? When he Hurts underthrew that go route, and when it was back in the end zone.
Oh yeah, terrible decision.
Terrible throw, like double coverage.
Yeah,
that's what, and I think that's what Jay Fitz was getting at, because I truly believe, like, listen, like we have a Jalen problem in Philly. Damn, why are we still talking about Hurts?
It's hard not to, man.
It's so hard not to. Hurts, like, he's underthrowing these balls too much, and Jalen Reagor is not that kind of player. Like, I'm not defending him at all. Jalen Reagor to me is still not a great wide receiver. We should have never selected him number one, first round. But he's that type of receiver that was Deshaun. Like, you got to throw it, over his head right into the breadbasket, lead him a little bit. You got to throw him, you got to lead him into open field instead of having him come back. He's not Alshon Jeffrey.
Right.
And Jalen apparently doesn't have the arm necessary.
Yeah, I think it's a forward
you hesitated.
problem. I know. I think it's a forward
Hurts
problem.
hard today.
I just like again, like this is what I'm saying.
Are you on payroll?
Oh, I wish. Almost soon. But this is what I've been saying, man. Like on bad days, man. On bad days, we gotta judge them the same way as on good days. When they put up 40 and he ran for 3 touchdowns, some people were, crown him right? king, give him the keys to the city, right? So on bad days, when he has bad days, I can't.
Are you taking jabs at me, Morgan?
Not you specifically.
Am I some people? I'm some people.
See, I feel like I got to be this voice of reason because, Philly fans, man, it's like a roller coaster with you guys, and I'm happy to be along for the ride. But, like, I'm happy I'm not a Sixers fan. I'm happy I'm a Raptors fan. Because, like,
wow.
Yeah.
What's with all these haymakers? You okay, bro? You feel this type of way?
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's tough, right? It's just tough because it's a win now city, right? Like, it's, a team that wants that success.
Right there. That's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you for joining today. That's it. That's the line. It's a win now city. That's the issue. Jalen can't be a quarterback in a win now city right now. It's not that so much pressure for him because I think he can handle it. He's handled it with so much poise. So that you got to tip your hat to. But it is a win now city, and that's the problem. The win now city comes a win now owner, win now front office.
Right.
That's the issue. So they're gonna want win now quarterbacks. So no more Jalen Reagor, no more Jalen Hurts.
All right.
Let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about Darius Slay. Darius is looking phenomenal. I mean, I think another game under 20 yards allowed. I mean, what did the Eagles do to deserve such a great cornerback after so many years of bad cornerback play?
I know. It feels like unnatural to talk about a good cornerback on the Eagles. One that isn't, playing off the bench and soon to be cut for no reason. But defensive player of the year, maybe that would be, I think he's got to be in the conversation.
He's a lot less yards than Trayvon Diggs. All Diggs has is interceptions. Can we acknowledge that?
But he's catching up, man.
Just being an Eagles fan.
Slay's catching up.
But that's all he has. Like, Slay's locked down guys.
Mm-hmm.
Diggs has just been taking a lot of risk. And it's kind of like Mikey Fresh last week. Diggs is a big what's it called? High risk. What's
high risk, high reward kind of guy.
Yeah, that's who he is. Darius Slay's not that guy. Darius Slay's an efficient cornerback. Yeah. And we gotta acknowledge, like, at his age, like, to be doing this, like, with young guys who are fast as hell nowadays, it's something huge. So I mean, to me, it has to be defensive player of the year.
We've been saying it, man. Like, write that man a blank check and just keep him in Philly. Like, I just feel like he's deserved it at this point. Malcolm left. I don't want to see another, talented guy leave. Like, it's just gonna feel that way. Man, watching him play for another team next year, watching Slay play for another team next year,
There's no way. No, there's no way to get rid of Slay. They can't, because they're talking about re-signing. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. They're talking about re-signing Steven Nelson. There's no way you give up Slay. I don't care what nobody says.
there's been some games where he's been all right, but yeah, I think it's time for a new corner. Again, it's a weird draft. Like unless you're taking one with your top picks, then you kind of have to hope one falls. But I think the problem is that I don't think that this defense does what it says it's going to do and like shines that spotlight on him. So for him to do what he's doing in off zone coverage is pretty crazy. Like, you know what I mean? It's such soft coverage. So for him at that age to have those like quick reactions and breaks on the football, man, I don't know what he's eating in the offseason, but he's looking fantastic. And especially late in the season, right? Like you see so many like older corners who like come on strong and then like, oh, get, you know, knock on wood, like, you know, an ankle thing that keeps him out and, you know, stuff like that. But he's coming on at the right time. If only the Eagles could beat anyone in the division.
Well, that's something we also have to talk about. I mean, the Eagles are 0-2 in the division, and Washington is picking up steam.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Like, I know playoffs was a talk last week. I know, you know, that was the implication. But with Washington picking up steam, 2 games against Washington, 1 more game against the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
Not make the playoffs.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. What does it take to win in December and January? What does it take? It takes 2 things: running the football, playing defense.
Absolutely.
If this defense can figure it out, man. Like I mean, we're talking defense. One of the biggest problems is what's the defensive line doing?
Yeah, there's been no pressure.
What's going on? And like soft zone coverage isn't gonna help you in that regard, but you got enough playmakers where you should be able to generate some more pressure than you are. And I get that the game plan going in was, you know, get the ball out of Daniel Jones's hands early. Like that's going to be the game plan against the Eagles for the rest of the season. You know, you need some plays from your defensive line, and it's not happening. You know, Cox looked a lot better, but still not good enough, man. You're spending all your money on that defensive line, and they just have to be better.
So really quick, before I get to Jay Fizzo's question, we do have an announcement to make. I'll let you take majority of it. I'll just mention what we're doing. Thursday night, guys. Obviously, everybody knows we have our podcast on Thursday nights. We're doing something a little different this Thursday night. Morgan has fallen into an opportunity where we've been asked to color commentate the Saints and Dallas Cowboys game. Now, this comes with a stipulation, and correct me if I'm wrong at any point. We need you guys to support us in this little endeavor. If we can get you guys to just join us, and you know, at some point, I think we have the ability to bring in people who have questions, just to actually, you know, voice their question. We'll be color commentating that game. And Thursday night, guys, if you guys can join us in this app, we'll put up the link on our Flippin the Birds Twitter page, on Morgan's Twitter page, on my Twitter pave. So you guys could join us. We'll be commentating the Cowboys versus Saints, and just have a good time. Grab a couple of brewskis, sit on the couch. We'll be talking football.
Yeah.
So maybe you can say that better than I did.
Yeah, I mean, you said it great, man. Details are it's through an app called Colorcast. That's about the American way, not the Canadian way. So no you. So you do. You. No, I just been spelling it weird because of autocorrect.
You've been spelling.
Yeah. So there's an app. You can log in through Facebook. Unfortunately, it's only available on Apple devices. They haven't made it to Android yet. But essentially, the way this works is we're going to be talking about the game. You know, we can talk about fantasy teams. We can talk about all that. And then if you're in the chat and you have a question, we can bring you on, right? It's like talk radio almost. So if you want to, you know, talk with us or shoot the shit and, you know, talk about the game, have some comments, then, you know, we'd love to have you and love to hear from you guys. So it's a really cool opportunity, you know, and if it goes well, we might be doing more of these things.
We end up doing Eagles games.
Yeah, we're hoping.
That's why we need your support.
Hoping to do Eagles games, and then we can bring you guys on during the game at halftime or, you know, commercial breaks and all that stuff. So,
I put the name of it.
It also works
on like a speaker with colors coming out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, it's in the App Store. LORCAST, and it does work on Mac laptops as well. So
anything iOS works on. Great thing about it is you don't have to see our faces, so I don't have to hide the fact that I haven't shaved. Morgan, he does have to hide his his great smile, that shines brighter than light behind him. So I don't think there's a website, but maybe we'll put more, we'll get more details together. Yes, it's more so app based, but we'll get more details together. We'll put it in on Twitter so everybody could kind of join into it. But yeah, like if it goes well, and it's a very low bar that you need to pass for it to go well. Yeah. So it's kind of like, you guys ever seen Yes Man when the girl was performing on stage and then she had like 5 of her friends? If you guys bring 5 of you guys into the chat, it helps.
It would go a long way for sure.
It will go a long way for us. So it's gonna be Colorcast in the App Store. It's not. Is it a website? Broster Reed wants to know.
Yeah, no, you can go to their website, but it'll direct you through the App Store. Unfortunately, okay. Colorcast Social Sports Talk is correct.
That's exactly what it is, Ben.
Yeah.
So we'll drop the link. This Thursday we'll be talking Cowboys and Saints. We may throw a little bird banter in there. Why not? Because we deserve to. Because we're Eagles fans. If there's no Android, but I know you got something iOS in your house. You better stop hiding it. But yeah, Colorcast, guys. So if you guys could definitely support us on Thursday night, it'll pave the way for us to possibly do it for Eagles games. I won't be able to do this one coming up against the Jets because I may actually be at the Jets game with the guys from 4th and John, and I think Chris might be out there too. So if you're out, definitely add us on Twitter. Let us know you're out there. But yeah. Is there anything left that we got to talk?
We got to talk a bit about the game coming up, I feel like. Because it could be important.
I don't want to talk about games anymore coming up. The disappointment.
Yeah, man. If they lose to the Jets, I don't know. That's just going to be a tough one to take. And unfortunately, I mean, it seemed like it was out of the realm of possibilities. I do think the Eagles will bounce back a bit, but I'm worried. This is a Jets team that can put up 20 points, right? And that's sometimes all you need if the offense can't get it going.
I mean, the Giants needed what? They needed 17 more, something like that. What? How much did we lose by? I got so pissed off in that game.
No, there wasn't even that many, man.
You know what gets me mad? My daughter wore a Kayvon Wallace jersey that game. She wore a Kayvon Wallace jersey and that let us down, man. So Jay Fizz, do you fire Nick if we lose against the Jets? No, that's not going to happen. And the Giants need 13 points. They're not gonna fire Nick. Like I said, they'll give Nick. So that's what I want to ask you. Thank you, Jay.
Minshew might be playing.
So Jalen Hurts is dealing with a sore ankle. He uses his feet a lot because he runs a lot, obviously. Minshew has been putting a little extra work just in case. Now, if we see this offense move the ball in ways that we have not seen, I'm not saying that Minshew's the second coming of Brett Favre. But if you see this offense move in a way that we have not seen all season, how do you think that's gonna reflect towards the front office? Like, do you think like, hey, it's like, okay, hey, it's not Nick. Like, what is everybody gonna say? Because everybody's been saying game plan. It's been terrible game play calling. But when we look at the tape, it's not bad play calling. It's just bad decisions.
Yeah, I mean, there was some questionable play calling in the Giants game. There's definitely some.
Your team defending Jalen Hurts today.
Well, no. See, okay. So here's my thing, and this is point blank, and this is not going to change for the rest of the season. There is not a quarterback in the upcoming draft that is a guaranteed lock to give you anything better than what you have right now. I don't think that player exists.
My brother from another mother, Matt Corral.
You're not getting.
He's not going to be better. Why am I not getting him? Why am I not getting him?
I think he's going top three, top 4. All right. You could trade up for him. I don't think you trade up for him. You could. You probably have the ammo to trade up for him. But
I probably got to force the trade him out or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. And again, like, it's year one, man. Like, I think that he's one of those guys that's like, I don't know, like Trevor Lawrence didn't turn around the Jags. You know what I mean? And he's a way better.
Whatever happened, he's still playing.
He's still on the Jags. That's why, it's like, it's just,
Trevor Lawrence to Philly, let's call it.
you can't, drop someone into a team like this where there's so many question marks and expect them to do better than some guy who's been there for 16 games, right? But yeah, he's not a trade-up quarterback. He's a guy that, if he's sitting on your lap, you have an early pick. Have you seen the picks right now, by the way? It's crazy. So
it's Jets, Giants,
Giants, Eagles. It's going to be a weird draft.
Dolphins. Since when did he start winning? What the hell is wrong with them in Miami,
Jalen Waddle, man. Jalen Waddle's coming on.
Oh, God.
I was questioning that pick at first, but he's looking good, man. He's looking real good.
He's fast. He's what everybody wanted Jalen Reagor to be. Let's call it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys wanted I say you guys because I wasn't on the Jalen Reagor train. I was on the JJ's train because I wanted Jefferson here so bad. But everybody wanted Jalen Reagor to be Jalen Waddle. You got the wrong Jalen. That's point blank. It's not the same guy. One's a guy. One speed.
To Ben's point here, it could be a year that no quarterback goes top 10. But I think if Matt Corral's sitting there by the time the Giants pick, I'd see them strongly considering that. That's my 2 cents.
They need everything though.
I mean, I just don't think you stay with Daniel Jones. I don't think you stay with Daniel Jones. I mean, listening to Giants fans, I don't know if you stick with them. Although after last week,
Mikey Fresh alone.
Yeah,
Eagles
I mean, Mikey liked him,
but come on.
But after last week, man, he beat the Eagles. Now he's like, a Super Bowl quarterback. So you never know. But Jets, man, like I have a weird feeling in my gut. It could happen, and like I hate to say it, but
the Joe Douglas revenge game.
Yeah, exactly. We see
terrible QB is the better QB.
Is Josh Adams still a Jet?
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere around there.
I think you just put him in. Just put him in and have him rush all over the Eagles just as revenge.
So shout out to Doug. I do not think Gettleman will be the GM at the end of the season. And that's a very scary thought. Brawlster, I mean, do they have Cooper and they have Lamb back? Do you think Cowboys lose? I don't think Cowboys.
They don't have McCarthy can't be there.
Oh, so you know what that means? They're definitely gonna win. That's what always happens. You lose a coach, you win, gain a victory. Freaking. Anyways, so, damn, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Jess.
It's been a long week, guys. It's been a long week.
I'm sorry, guys. It's been a very emotional week for me and an immensely draining week.
And it's only Tuesday.
It's only Tuesday. That's a crazy thing, bro. All right. We get my focus here.
Yeah,
it's funny because I told my wife I had a long day. I'm gonna have a beer, and I ended up having tea instead.
That's how you know, man. That's how you know. It's been a long week.
It's been rolling. Damn. Okay. I feel like there's no way the Eagles can lose this game. Like, is it possible that the Eagles lose to the freaking Jets? Like,
yeah,
I thought it was very possible that they lose today to the Giants. The Eagles are 1-0 with me in the stadium. At the link. That's got to count for something, right? If I go to Sunday, I don't know. It's so weird, but
here's
I want to see the Eagles win.
Here's how they lose. Okay.
Okay.
They run the football. Miles Sanders is still, not 100% clearly, right? Probably gonna be a lot of Boston Scott. We know what he can do against the Giants. Had that unfortunate fumble, but look good. Against other teams, man, Boston Scott's an okay player. So you abandon the run. You go with Jalen Hurts. He does okay. He gets you 17 points. This defense, man, Zach Wilson is a first-round quarterback for a reason. He hasn't been great. But if you do that stupid off zone, like you need to switch it up. Against the Giants, man, Gannon threw in some some bluffs. Yeah, at first it looked okay, man. He was bluffing. He was bringing players up to the line. They were dropping back in coverage. He threw 1 or 2 blitzes. And then just like second half was like, nah, I'm good. Like, we're just going to play straight up. And if you do that against a guy like Zach Wilson, like, he will make certain passes. Like, he's still a developing quarterback, but he's a first-round quarterback. And that's how you lose, is this defense, man. This defense needs to decide whether or not it's good or not. I can't tell you. They need to decide that. I literally can't. I don't know.
Statement. That's really. I'm not even BSing you. That's a really great statement that the defense needs to decide if they're good or not. Are you ready for this one?
What do you think? You think the defense can show up? You got confidence?
Yeah, I think the defense will show up. But I'm fearful the offense can't show up.
Yeah.
Because you're going into this game, Jordan Howard's questionable. He's banged up. Miles Sanders is a little banged up. Boston
Maybe Jalen Hurts.
Can we stop glorifying Boston Scott as well, please? Stop it, guys. Stop the nonsense. I don't want to hear it.
I like the way he's running, man. I like the way he's running. I'll say that much.
I don't want to
he's
hear
running
it.
hard.
I don't want to hear it.
The fumble was terrible, but
we drafted Kenny Gainwell for a reason. He's our healthy back. He could be our consistent back if we consistently use him. Jalen Hurts, as you mentioned, he's banged up. If Gardner Minshew plays this game,
I think you beat the
Eagles
Jets.
are winning. You beat the Jets, absolutely, hands down. I think you win this game.
I don't, and that's not to say he's a better quarterback.
No, absolutely not. I want to say
that just means you give him a simple ass playbook and you run the football, and that's how you win this game.
If Jalen Hurts plays this game, especially with him being banged up, especially with him coming off this big loss, I think he's gonna try to overachieve. He's gonna try to overdo what he couldn't do last week against the Giants, and that's not what he needs to do. Now, the last time I told you guys that the Eagles need to not do something, they ended up doing it against the Giants. They ended up getting pass happy. So I'm telling you right now, I know Howie Roseman somehow, some way in the crowd where they're listening. You do not need to get cute. If Jalen's banged up, you sit Jalen. You let the man rest. You put Gardner Minshew in. You run the ball. Little play action here and there. Little, under center throws. Keep it simple. Don't get cute. Target the guys that catch. Don't target the guys that don't. It's very simple. Like when you play backyard football, you don't you target your best friend. You don't target the kid that just showed up from the other neighborhood just because he think he could do something. You want to make him feel good. No,
even if he was a first round pick. Even if he was a first round pick,
you don't target him right now. You don't. There's no chemistry there. There's nothing brewing there. You're not like there's nothing in there. You're brewing tea without water in a pot. Like that's
a rusty gear, man. You haven't used them, so don't count on them now.
So keep it simple. So I'm gonna say like this: if the Eagles play Gardner Minshew, the Eagles are gonna win 21-17. If the Eagles play Jalen Hurts, my fear is that Jalen Hurts is going to overdo what he didn't do last week. But I still think the Eagles will win, just not convincingly. I'm talking about like a 13-10 game with another bad outing. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but he's on a bum ankle right now. It's riskier with Hurts in a game than it is Minshew this week, in my opinion.
I think so. I think even just by the play calling, I think you need to simplify it. I think Duke makes a good point. We don't have time to go into it, but yeah, I think Reagor in a different city is still going to be a good receiver.
Absolutely. I'm to Kansas City. They like these guys.
Yeah, Green Bay, someone like that, right? If Aaron Rodgers stays, who knows? But yeah, this game I think it's going to go one of two ways, and they're polar opposites. If this isn't a Eagles blowout, then they might lose. Like I think there has to be like either the Eagles come to play, and if they do come to play, it's a blowout. The Jets can't hang with them, or they don't come to play, and you end up with another Giants game. Like it's one or the other. I don't think there's any in between. This is not going to be like a battle that like comes down to it might be like a field goal battle, but if they come to play, there should be no contest. I just it's been so up and down. I don't know what to expect. I think the defense, it's really going to be up to them. If you get hold them to under 20 points, you should count on the offense to put up that many against this team at least.
I definitely agree.
But the numbers wise, it could be 40-6. I don't know. Who knows?
It could be that.
Listen,
much. It could be another game like we had against Denver. But if we have that kind of game, I'm gonna refrain myself from jumping on the bandwagon again because it's not gonna make sense. Like you beat the Jets, yes. You guys could beat them.
You're gonna come join me. Gonna come join me on the fence, eh?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the fence from now on.
Yeah, just get me on the fence. Yeah.
So let's have a special shout out to Jay Fizz because Jay Fizz needs his moment right now. So he said, by the way, we can check the older shows, which I'm not gonna do, but you can definitely do that, Jay. Add another view to all the shows. But I said we should have been using Howard since the preseason. Just want that out there. I do remember that, and I do remember him saying that Howard should have been on the roster. Which you are absolutely right about.
and you were fighting for that as well.
Yeah, I
And
remember
said
that.
he was gonna get cut.
Yeah, that was. But that's how I feel right
Can't
now.
be right.
Can we bring
Can't
up
be right
baseball?
all the time.
Can baseball start
Baseball?
already? Like, is it April? Like, can we start baseball? I'm not a Phillies fan, so don't.
I'm struggling through the Raptors season right now.
So. I'm not even watching basketball this year. I'm so fed up with what happened in Philly that I'm so turned off about basketball. And I am not a LeBron James fan, so I'm going to throw that out there in the podcast. And I don't care who feels some type of way.
Man,
I've never
one
been
game for
fan.
that.
Wait, what?
For the punch? Is that what you're talking about? The punch?
No.
Punch?
I've never been a LeBron fan.
Okay.
Like my thing will. All right. So we got 5 minutes. This wasn't supposed to be a long show. We got 5 minutes. My thing with LeBron, right? So I grew up, with the Kobe. I grew up with the AI, the Tracy McGrady, the Vince Carter, the Jason Kidd. I grew up with the guys who made it happen with what was around them.
Right.
I don't like this new age of basketball where these guys are making it happen with better players. Like it's not want to call super teams. I don't like the idea of having 4 juggernaut players in one team, calling this guy the greatest of all time.
I think it's going to change, man. I think we're on the.
Go ahead.
I think we're on the dawn of change. Raptors win, Bucks win. Like obviously the Lakers won in the bubble.
I'm hoping it steers back that way because I love the Kobe era. Like, and I know
you need
Kobe
role
and
players,
Shaq, but you need the guys around them to make it work. That was the whole idea. Like when LeBron was in Cleveland, I thought it was gonna be like, yeah, this is the second coming of Jordan. Yeah, give me that absolutely. But he couldn't make it happen. He still can't make it happen unless he has a legit number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 And it's mind blowing. I mean, it's watered down basketball for me. And I grew up on basketball. I played basketball in high school, junior high. Like I loved basketball to death. But I'm on to bigger and better things in life. Baseball and football.
I can't watch baseball. I'm not again. We don't need to get into that, but it'll be basketball and football for me for a while. Canadian soccer too. You probably haven't been paying this attention at all, but we might qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 30 years. So
I watch World Cup soccer. I do watch that, even though I mean I like it. Waking up at
we're on the cusp, baby.
Watching these games.
Alfonso Davies, and we got Jonathan David. We got some nice players. Kyle Lauren. I think I'm saying that right.
See what happens, man. I can definitely I can mess with I can mess with some soccer, definitely for sure.
Carl Laren, that's what it is. Yeah, buddy. Cheer for Canada. I mean, you probably won't, but it'd be nice for me.
All right, guys. Well, yes. So remember, Thursday night, guys, we're gonna put out the app. I mean, we're gonna put out the information on our on Twitter, on Instagram. For those who are listening to the recorded version tomorrow, make sure you guys follow our Instagram page, our Twitter accounts to be aware of what we're putting out in regards to Thursday night. But please join us, guys. We will greatly appreciate it. Let's have a good time. Let's talk. It's the night of no pressure, right? There's no emotions tied to this. We're not to talk about Eagles. We're not gonna be stressing the whole time. Good time. Talk Giant. Talk. Damn, I keep getting it wrong. Talk Cowboys versus Saints. Let's make it happen. And for my Phillies fans out there, let's go Mets, okay?
And let's go Raptors.
We can say
if we're doing that, if we're throwing out,
might as well. Why not? I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett, and we're flipping the birds.
Go Birds, please.
Yes,
please win. Please win this game.
Please.